Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to take a look at 5 fights. So yesterday when I got my pip reset, which means I was gonna have 6 fights for the day before everything got reset, I used my first fights to kill Raven. And you might have seen that at the end of the video that I have posted yesterday. In this video we're going to look at the rest of the 5 fights done in that day, because in only 5 fights I have managed to kill 4 sub-bosses. They're gonna be tier 1 sub-bosses, so they're gonna deal absolutely no damage, but since this is Heroic 7, they're gonna have 2 billion health each. I mean, not really 2 billion, they are gonna have 1.9 point something, but look, it's a situation same as it is with the prices. When you see something that costs $4.99, you know it costs $5. Same here, those fights have roughly 2 billion health, it's an easy approximation, so yeah. First up we have the Zatanna, Ligvarki, and for this fight specifically it actually went very well for me because boss White Canary is immune to power drain, so that meant I was allowed to use Sword of Sin on Zatanna without getting punished for it because it wouldn't power drain. I need to put Sword of Sin on something or Sword of Salvation because I have passive stats from them, but usually both of them would be counteractive for the Zatanna passive because Zatanna passive needs to power drain with abilities to get more damage. And both of them would be counterproductive, but here we had a great time because she was immune to power drain and we could put Sword of Sin and not worry about it, and then also had Sword of Salvation available on EPI to be used to generate power for that third special. Harley had a great time, got a lot of damage in there and finished this fight with 28 seconds left. That's insane. Again, my League of Arc is not strong enough yet. I mean, they are, but my artifacts are not strong enough yet to one-shot from 2 billion without Zatanna, but that's definitely possible. Now, Boss Green Arrow over here is gonna be immune to crits and lethals, but we're going to use Dark Mail cards on Raven, and even though I thought at the start, I remember when it released, I was like, nah bro, there's no way it works for characters that don't wear it. It actually does. The only thing that doesn't work for characters that are not actively wearing this item is the additional crit damage and your ability to bypass the crit damage cap, but everything crit related is generated by that hazard area. So even though Kimflan Sakuman is not equipped with the Dark Metal cards, he's gonna be able to benefit from the chance to crit, even though this man is crit immune. We have Beta Club at level 10 on Kimflan Sakuman, Dark Metal cards at level 6 on Raven, so not the best case scenario in terms of Dark Metal cards. The higher level, the more chance you're gonna get to bypass crit immunity. And we have level 10 Sword of Sin on, or Sword of Salvation, whatever it is, they both give same amount of passive stats on Power Girl. And the interesting stuff is that the dot damage that King inflicts with the Beta Club actually crits only if King is actively on the Dark Metal cards area. If I tag him out, it no longer crits, and I guess it makes sense. Next up we have Boss Black Lightning here, and we're going to use Grodd for a Brainiac here. We have level 10 Beta Club on Grodd, and we have level 10 Sword of Sin and level 10 on Sword of Salvation on the other two characters. I'm gonna eventually replace them whenever I'm using them for passive stats with Trigon Staff, because I began working on my Trigon Staff because it gives so much more passive stats at higher level. But so far I saw as a priority to get my Sword of Sin and Sword of Salvation to max level because of their actives, and my Trigon Staff is currently just level 3. I think at level 6 it would start giving more passive stats than the level 10 Sword of Sin and Sword of Salvation, so we'll see how that goes. Ideally, in the future, I want to also upgrade the chakra so I can have 2 of the highest passive stats artifacts for this soul raid, but that will take a while. It will take a long ass time. I think to fully upgrade a 3rd tier passive stat artifact, in this case being Trigon Staff and Chakra, I think I actually need to clear Heroic 7 3 times to get the materials, or maybe even more than that. So it definitely does take a long time, but I'll eventually do it. I messed up there with my combo interruption, so this man just used his specialty twice, so that sucked. But it's okay, we did so well in this fight that it didn't matter that we made a mistake at that point, and this man will be gone in a few seconds. There we go. So, moving on to the next fight. we're going to have first of all Deathstroke. This was it in terms of one-shots. We're no longer able to one-shot, we have done 3 fights, and we have 2 more fights, and we need to kill boss Captain Cold. I have Mr. Freeze available, and I have the Deathstroke Batman Ninja team available. Batninja, Deathstroke, and Mr. Freeze are all 3 stars, and for Batman Flaps, did I say Batman Ninja? My bad. So Batman Flaps and Deathstroke are 3 stars. For them it doesn't really matter, but for Mr. Freeze it does matter. So because of that he will not be dealing that much damage, so we need to do our absolute best with this team. We get our percentage hull damage out of the way with Batman Flaps, and now we're going to start to do special 2s with Deathstroke. We want to get them as many. We want to get as many of them in there as possible before he uses super move. Okay, he's gonna use super move, and he fails to kill Deathstroke quite heavily. Like, I do have a lot of health because of the level 10 Sword of Salvation, but that's as far as the passive sets from artifacts went, and I removed all the gears from Deathstroke, except for some that didn't give any defensive stats. But yeah, the clone got tagged in a reasonable time. Like, Deathstroke eventually died. It took 1 special 2, but he eventually died, so it's all good. Going to push to the corner here. Come in, chopped again. Our special 2. Come in, chopped again. Into our special 2. Deathstroke back in, getting hit by 1 special 1, getting hit by 2nd special 1. There we go, an Arcone in there. Special 2. Trying to push him back to the corner while spamming the special 2. Special 1, we can block that. We definitely have enough health to block that. That's a bit of an advantage. If it takes a long ass time for Deathstroke to die, then you know the clones are gonna be a little bit more resistant, so at the very least we have that. And yeah, this went very well for Battle Collapse Deathstroke fights. This went as well as it goes. And we're gonna have to do 550 with Mr. Freeze. That's gonna be a little bit of a stretch, to be fair, but I think we can match it. We have Red Hood in there for super move, and we have Classic Wonder Woman for more crit damage. Also, Red Hood I think synergizes very well with Mr. Freeze, because you need to do the super move with Red Hood to do the time extension for the fight, and at the same time by doing that you apply 10 damage buffs on Mr. Freeze by default with that, so I feel like it has double benefit for this team. Mr. Freeze also doing his super move right to the back in there to try to push him to the corner and generate a little bit of power. Mr. Freeze back in there, special 2. Back off a bit, push him back into the freezing area. Jump attack, special 2. This time I'm not gonna worry about not resetting the freezing. I just want to go for the max damage I can. And I'm gonna freeze him again and try to pick up the pace from here. And we deal 7 million damage at peak performance with maximum stacks and super move done. And that's a pretty decent amount. Again, this would be so much more insane if we did have a higher star rating Mr. Freeze. But for a 3-star character, that's actually insane. I mean, for the pay-to-win side of things, because this is beta level Mr. Freeze, like, let's be real here. For free-to-play, he's garbage. He's absolute dogshit garbage. He just has an insanely good synergy with beta club. That's all this character does. Outside of that, if you don't have that artifact, don't try to get this character. He's not gonna be great. Manta is better, as far as I'm aware. And as far as my experience goes with the character. At this point, I was really not thinking that it would be enough to kill him, because whenever this happens, and trust me, this is the actual optimal gameplay, you just look at the health bar and you're like, huh, this is not going down fast enough. But it is actually going down fast enough. Over here, I think we had a little bit of trouble freezing him again. But it's fine, we get him frozen here. And I do a few jump attacks. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Like it if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!